Good morning, everyone.
I am your reporter for today. I am ORVIN BRYAN, C. ODAL. And my topic is how does assessment for learning help the individual student? So in this topic, we will be knowing the importance of assessment for our students and also as a teacher. There are three purposes of assessment. We have the assessment for learning, assessment as learning, and assessment of learning. Alright, so let's start in assessment for learning. Assessment for learning occurs throughout the learning process. It is designed to make each student's understanding visible so that teachers can decide what they can do to help student progress. Teachers use this assessment as an investigate tool to find out as much as they can about what their students know and can do, and what confusions, preconceptions, and gaps they might have, or what we call the diagnostic assessment, so that we can assess kung hanggang saan na ba yung kaya ng ating students or hanggang saan na ba yung knowledge ng students natin. And by that time, we can be able to assess or we can able to decide kung ano ba yung mga dapat natin gawin or kung saan ba tayo magsisimula sa topic natin. Next is the teacher's role and assessment for learning. Assessment for learning occurs throughout the learning process. It is interactive with teachers, aligning instructions with the targeted outcomes, identifying particular learning needs of the students or groups, selecting and adapting materials and resources, creating differentiated teaching strategies and learning opportunities for helping individual students move forward in their learning, providing immediate feedback and direction to students. Alright, so those are the rules of a teacher and assessment for learning. So we need to be to give instructions or instruction, which is we're going to have these fixed instructions so that the students will be able to follow each instructions. And also at the same time, we can be able to select and adapt materials and other resources, or kung saan ba yung mga resources natin yan. So we can have resources in the internet, to our colleagues or linkages, ganyan. And also, we need to create a differentiated teaching strategy since we have a diverse learners and learning opportunities for helping individual students to move forward in their learning. So, kailangan na natin yan gawin upang nang sa ganun is we'll be able to assess or to help our students to move in their learning. At the same time, we need to provide immediate feedback and direction to students, which is we're going to give feedbacks about their learnings. So next is the assessment as learning. Assessment as learning focuses on students and emphasizes assessment as a process of metacognition for students or knowledge of one's own through processes. Assessment as learning emerges from the idea that learning is not just a matter of transferring ideas from someone who is knowledgeable to someone who is not, but it is an active process of cognitive restructuring that occurs when individuals interact with new ideas. Assessment as learning, or this is what we call the formative assessment that we are doing during the class discussion. So, teachers' rules and assessment as learning. So, first is a model and teach the skills of self-assessment. Second, guide students in setting goals and monitoring their progress towards them. Third one is provide exemplars and models to good practice and quality to work that reflect curriculum outcomes. Work with students to develop clear criteria of good practice. Provide regular and challenging opportunities to practice so that students can become confident and competent assessors. Next is monitor students' metacognitive processes as well as their learning and provide descriptive feedback. Last one is to create an environment where it is safe for students to take chances and where support is readily available. So those are the rules of a teachers and assessment as learning. Last one is the assessment of learning. Assessment of learning refers to the strategies designed to confirm what students know or na-acquired nila during class discussion or throughout the discussion, demonstrate whether or not they have met curriculum outcomes or the goals of their individualized programs, or to certify proficiency and make decisions about students' future programs or placement. Okay, so the teacher's rules and assessment of learning. A rationale for undertaking a particular assessment of learning at a particular point in time. First is clear description of intended learning. Second, processes that make it possible the student to demonstrate their competence and skill. A range of alternative mechanism and assessing the same outcomes. Next is a public defensible reference points of making judgments. Next is transparent approach and interpretation. Next one is the description of the assessment process and strategies for resources and the event of disagreement about the decision. So those are the rules of the teachers in assessment of learning. And also we have the 4 pillars of assessment for learning in physical education. First is the validity. Validity is refers to the extent that a test measures what is supposed to measure. Or this refers kung ano ba dapat natin i-assess as a teacher sa ating students. The next one is the reliability. Interpret these outcomes as accurately and consistently as possible. So dito natin malalaman kung gaano ba ka-reliable yung mga sources natin or yung mga tinuturo natin. If it is may na-learn ba yung mga students natin or may na-acquired ba sila during this discussion. Alright, so the another pillars of assessment and physical education is the purpose. This function is, or the purpose is the key when designing assessment to ensure that they elicit high quality information must appropriate for the agreed and use. Alright, so it is really important to have this purpose because when we are going to teach our lesson or we are going to have a plan kung ano ba yung mga topic na dapat gagawin natin is we really need to have to know the purpose of our topic so that we can have a clear vision kung ano ba yung dapat natin i-assess or ituturo sa ating mga estudyante. And lastly, we have the value. Value provides valuable information about student progress, identifies areas of improvement, and helps enhance the teaching and learning processes. So the importance of value is that we can be able to have a knowledge when it comes in teaching, if it is really reliable or it is really effective when it comes in teaching. And also with the help of value, it helps us to provide information about the progress of our students and identify about their improvement if may nag-improve ba sa kanila or wala. And also it helps us to enhance our teaching and at the same time the learning process of our students. So overall, assessment is very important to us as a teacher and as a students. For us as a teacher, it is very important to have this assessment in order for us to have an idea about the progress of our students, and at the same time, our it helps us to improve our teaching strategies. And for the learners naman, it helps them to become more eager or to have their eagerness to learn or to improve themselves when it comes in performing or in their daily tasks. So that's all for my report. Thank you and have a blessed Sunday to everyone.